The only big thing is you just got to have a guy that plays the guitar.
We're at the end here. It's 10 and 5. I got 10 questions for you and 5 big questions for you. All right? So everybody gets this, 10 and 5. So you just answer these what comes to your mind here. So first 10, you ready? Seeds or gum?
Gum.
Okay. Day game or night?
Day.
Grass or turf?
Grass.
All right. DH or pitcher hit?
Pitcher hit.
Why?
It's part of the game. It's how I grew up.
That's how you grew up. Batting gloves or bare hand?
Bare hand.
Yeah? Straight up bare hand?
Never used batting.
Never used batting gloves?
No.
Just toughen them up and go?
No, I just didn't feel right.
Didn't feel right. Didn't like it. Okay. Pullover jersey or button up?
Pullover.
You like the pullover?
Because they wouldn't let us use a button up in college. We got to the last inning with the lead. We would unbutton the top one and then the second one. And it looked like we were undressing during the game. And Jack Stallings made us quit the pull.
You're just letting them know that's an out. That's another out.
Exactly right. Me and the second baseman started that, and we looked out there, and everybody's shirts are hanging out like one-run lead, bases loaded.
Yeah, so it's pullover for you from now on.
Because of that, yeah.
Socks or stirrups?
Socks.
They're easier, aren't
Oh,
they?
yeah.
So much easier.
Yeah.
I hated stirrups.
That's all we had.
That's all. And the sanitary socks were awful. I had to throw mine out every day. I'm a catcher.
That's right. They were gamey.
Oh, they were gamey. I couldn't stand it. Long pants or knickers?
Ooh, I like long because I never wore them.
Yeah.
I like long with the socks. I never wore those.
Did you show sock? Or did you want it all the way down your game pants, all the way down? Yeah.
Oh, I would like to show just a
little bit
at the bottom.
Yeah, see.
Just the color, just to get a red or a blue.
Right. So down to the ankle.
Yeah.
Down to the ankle. All right. Sports drink. What's your color?
Ooh, orange.
Orange. Why?
Just that was the early one.
That was the early one. You had green or orange.
Yeah,
and that was
the first ones. That's what we had.
That's all you had.
And we used to call it Seminole Firewater because we refused to say Gatorade.
Yeah, because allegedly it came from the University of Florida.
Yeah.
But
and Don Falls will swear to this day that he's the one that did it.
Yeah.
We don't give the Gators credit for much.
Not a lot. All right. 5 questions. Okay. What accomplishment, and this can be about anything, it doesn't matter. What accomplishment are you the most proud of?
I would say going into the Florida State University Athletic Hall of Fame and being the only person to that year, and maybe still, that started on an NCAA bid team in basketball and in baseball in the same year.
That's quite an accomplishment. So as an athlete going in to sport, NCAA postseason 2 sport.
In the same year.
In the same year.
Yeah.
That's.
And I didn't realize that. Hugh Durham told me that, who I told you I'm a much better friend, and we're friends now.
Yeah. That is.
He's
really
the one
cool.
that told me. I didn't even know. I didn't even think about it.
Well, you're in the sport. You're in the Florida Sports Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You're also in the FSU's Hall of Fame.
Florida High.
Florida High.
In Ohio.
In Ohio, as a high school athlete, you're in their Hall of Fame as well.
In baseball up there.
In
Coaches Hall of Fame.
Coaches Hall of Fame, yeah. Best. Okay, is there a loss that haunts you?
Yes. In 13 years, we lost to North Florida Christian once.
Okay, this is high school. You were coaching in high school.
Once.
You lost to your rival.
Yeah, well, it's one of them. It's one of the worst days in my life.
Why?
Because of who's over there.
We don't need to go into that, do we? We don't need to go into that. Was a bit of a rivalry, and that was a get after her. But those that know, you'll know.
Yeah, we were like 20-something and 1 against them. That was awful.
Okay, yeah, because we have losses that haunt us.
That was one.
We can't forget about it. Best tip, trick, piece of advice you ever got, and from who?
Don Falls.
Don Falls, who was
The
again
trainer at Florida State.
the trainer for
Basketball, baseball, football.
For
there.
years.
He was the guy. The whole country knows Don, or knew Don Falls.
kind of a legend. Yeah.
And it was kind of simple. And I was in my senior year, and I got invited to try out for the Pan American team, United States Pan Am Games.
As a
Baseball. And it was right at the start of basketball season.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really torn because we were on probation in basketball.
But you weren't on probation.
No, the team.
It was a scholarship.
Right. The team was recruiting,
right.
Because of whatever. So I go to Don Falls, who is, to this day, I just love that guy. But I explained it to him. Without him giving me an answer, he just goes about this. You got these teammates, you got that, whatever. So I said, I got you. So I didn't go.
You didn't go to Pan Am?
No. I said, hey, it's basketball. I've been with these guys for 4 years. He never said it that way. He never said, this is what you ought to do.
Right.
But he was that guy, and I knew what he was trying to tell me. He wouldn't. And then after basketball season was over, I got picked to play in the North-South All-Star basketball game,
mm-hmm.
which happens during baseball season.
You're right.
I go back to Don Falls. Don Falls goes, Hogue, we've been through this. I went back, turned it down, went to play baseball, missed them both.
Because you're teammates.
Because
it's about your teammates, commitment to your school.
It was my 4 years that I went where I was at the best place I could have ever been.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade Florida State for nothing.
Great coaches, great. Right.
People said, what was the most, I would give up everything before I would give up college basketball.
Yeah.
That was the cat's butt right there.
Yeah, we talked about that a lot.
You go into North Carolina and Blue Heaven up there and there's 20,000 people that hate your guts.
Yeah.
Or down to Florida or it's just different.
College baseball, college athletics.
They're there for the right reason.
It is magic. It's
absolutely
magic.
Everybody's there for the right reason.
Yeah.
And you don't get that in pro ball.
No.
You don't get that really in high school.
No.
But there in college, man, you better make those grades. You're not going to be eligible. You're not going to be part of this. This is special.
It is very special. And it is 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, guys will come back and they'll pick up right where they left off.
I talked to, the guys that are left. We've lost so many basketball players, but I talked to guys that I hung out with in college. Gary Sprague is a first-team All-American shortstop at FSU. Jeff Sprague's dad,
right?
Play golf with him twice a week.
Yeah.
When I was at their apartment more than I was with them at the dorm.
Right.
And I talk to Collins once a month or sometimes more. Randy Cable lives here. Jan Geis, we raise some money.
David Geis played for us. His son, whose sons are elite soccer players, right? Yeah, but that college experience is, and it doesn't matter if it's FSU. That's not the point.
No.
It is magical.
It is. It's so different.
Yeah.
And people, you can tell them about it. If they don't experience, they don't get it.
It's the difference between looking down at the field and looking up from it.
Ooh.
It's just different. And you're right. There aren't words to describe it.
I don't think you can. I mean, even coaching in a state all-star game or coaching in a state championship game or, playing a state, it's just things that you can't replicate.
Mm-mm.
You have to live it.
It's coveted. It is such a cherished moment and absolutely coveted. If you could go back in time now, would you do anything differently? Would you change something?
Not school-wise. I would think if I were to change something, I think I might have given. I had a chance to go to University of Central Florida as the baseball coach.
Mm-hmm.
And they could not get my wife a teaching position down here one time. Bill Peterson was fundraiser AD, and I turned it down, and I probably should have taken it. Worry about my wife getting a job later.
Yeah. Well, I'll say that if you did that, I'd have never met you.
Yeah. Well, maybe I recruited you.
Maybe you would have recruited me. I don't know. Last question right here. When it's all over said and done, how do you want people to remember you?
That I was in it for the right reason. When I turned down some chances to go into scouting and some pro coaching opportunities and whatever that I learned early on when I started coaching in not the professional ranks.
In high school and college.
That's where I needed to be.
Right.
Because I could do more good. Because I think there's a lot of people that aren't too worried about shaping kids' lives as much as they're worrying about winning and losing. It's amazing, but both of those will go hand in hand if you'll let it.
And it's amazing too. And again, I write about this in the book, and I've derived this from the lessons that I've learned from you over the years. When coaches, no matter what level, covet the win more than they covet the player, they'll serve the win over the player, over their health. But if you serve the player, truly and authentically serve the player, and they all will say this, it's player development. And the podcast is named Player Development Podcast. They all say the same thing, but if you can't measure the action, if you can't look at it and say, yes, I see that action as servicing the player, the wins will come. If you
I think there's no question.
There's no question.
And I look at different things like I'm close to all the basketball players that are still alive that were on FSU. I mean, when they come to town, they stay at my house.
Right.
The Florida High baseball players they're the closest of all the baseball players. I guarantee you got Brian Cox, David Ross, Kevin Ricks, and those guys they hang.
Yeah.
And even though they live in different parts of the country, Jared Martins and whatever, Bertoldi, they're still around. And you can't get that bond anywhere else.
No, I agree. And you have to covet that.
There's another thing.
It has to be important.
Just really quick. I don't know if you can edit this out of it. I'm going to tell you what. I think the military and athletics are the two places where genuinely racism is not a problem. I'm in Pro Bowl. One of my best buddies, Joe Staten.
Yeah.
And for crying out loud, he'd go to war for me out there.
Yeah.
When you look at basketball, Skip Young, Willie Williams, John Burt, all those guys. It's different there.
Yeah.
There in the military, you got to have each other's back. We're in this together.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's and you talked about this a lot. Where who cares? I don't care what color, what religion, what sexual preference my offensive linemen are.
It makes no
difference.
Keep
those other guys off me.
Yeah, it doesn't make any difference.
No.
If it does make a difference, you don't need to get into this field we're in.
No. Because you're going to share it. You spend so much time together,
Ugh.
and it's not comfortable to take a 10-hour bus ride. I wouldn't change one of them. I wouldn't take one of them back.
And the only big thing is you just got to have a guy that plays the guitar.
You gotta have a guy that
Got to have a guy that's strumming it up back here. You find some people, they don't sing any better than I do, but they're getting right in, don't matter.
It don't matter.
Make sure you catch our full interview that we did. To make it easy for you to find, I put the link to it in the description below. Remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to get more awesome content like this.